We want to welcome to the big round table our first guest today. We have the pleasure of welcoming the international president of Toastmasters International, and he is Georgian. He is from Taipei, Taiwan. He is visiting New Mexico. Along with us today is T.K. O'Grady, immediate past district governor for Toastmasters. Is that for New Mexico or Albuquerque or what?
That is our district, which is New Mexico, El Paso, up the west part of Texas to the Oklahoma Panhandle.
Well, great.
A lot of area.
A lot of area.
We were just admiring, you made a big purchase yesterday of your first bolo tie, Mr. Yen.
That's correct. It's the first.
It's New Mexico's official tie.
I know, that's why I have to get
State
one.
tie, yeah.
You look great.
He said it was easy to tie.
Yeah.
It is. It's got a little color there. That's nice. Wear that at home and see what happens.
That would be a big hit.
Yeah.
At least a conversation starter. Because nobody ever seen this thing.
Well, we want to welcome you, first of all, to New Mexico. And you're doing a swing throughout the United States, or are you visiting
Well, just
several
certain
clubs?
parts of it.
Yeah.
It's a 4-week tour. After here, I go to Vancouver, then Seattle, then Mexico, and then Atlanta.
Wow. So Toastmasters is really international then.
Yes, we're in 122 countries.
Oh, wow.
14,000 clubs.
amazing.
About 300,000 members around the world.
Well, maybe we should know a little bit about Toastmasters. I think everybody has kind of an idea of what they think it is, but what is it really? What does Toastmasters do? What's your mission?
It's a the nonprofit organization for communication and leadership through public speaking. And it's a nonprofit. We have organized in clubs. We come together. We give feedbacks, prepare speeches, impromptu speeches, evaluation, and mutual support.
So anybody who's wanting to learn to be a public speaker, be better at public speaking, this is the place to go.
Absolutely.
And I think it's more than just public speaking. It's just basic communication. Just sitting there talking even to office workers, coworkers, your nonprofit groups.
The thing about Toastmasters, public speaking is only a means to an end. And that end is personal development, personal knowledge, knowing yourself, and personal growth. And one of the things is that Toastmasters does change lives one at a time.
There's no doubt about that. And if people are having trouble communicating their ideas to other people, this is where you can go and learn those skills in a very, very supportive atmosphere. There's no better group to get up and speak in front of than a Toastmasters group. They're very supportive. They're very enthusiastic. They're a great audience always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, the tagline is positive and mutually supportive. Everybody in that room wants you to succeed.
That's the best environment there can be.
Yep.
So this is for everybody. Like, is Toastmasters usually, I don't know, is it usually specific for a certain person, specific position? I mean...
No, it's anybody who's interested in moving on with, transforming their life to move on and move up in the world. So anybody from minimum age 18-year-old on up, and even, for example, high school students.
Yeah. And it's not just the speaking aspect of it, it's also maybe how you use your hands, or maybe you shouldn't use your hands, and they analyze all those little things that you do as well.
That's why public speaking is a little misnomer. It's really about communication, and communication are nonverbal communication as well. Eyes, our body language, our vocal variety, that all times speaks volumes more than the content.
Right.
And that's also wonderful is in addition to those prepared speeches, you learn how to give feedback. And that's one of the biggest benefits I got from the Toastmasters environment was I learned how to give feedback that's positive, specific, encouraging, and it's actually helped me become a better leader.
And that's a part where we train our listening. Listening is such a difficult skill that we can't talk anyway. But that's a big part of communication.
It is indeed. It is.
You're good at speaking, actually.
Now, George, you yourself, you're the chairman of the board of a company called Great Sequoia Corporation. You're based in Taipei?
Yes.
And but it is an international company?
Well, Great Sequoia itself is not, but I'm also chairman of 5 other companies, 4 of which are joint ventures, 2 with Japanese one with Canadian and one with American company.
And you speak 4 languages,
Yes, sir.
including English, obviously.
Including
Very busy.
And you went to school at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania.
That's where I
Business
got
School.
finished up with my master's degree in international relations.
Oh. So how did you get involved with Toastmasters?
Well, it's a long story. After I came to this country, stayed for 24 years, achieved American dreams, started my own business in New York, married a California wife, and then the world started shifting, and that world I built just collapsed right underneath me.
Oh.
Part of the reason was the development of the personal computers.
I
That's
see.
undercut not only my business, international trade business, but also the whole industry. So I went back to Taiwan with the same backpack and suitcase.
Interesting.
Yes, and
You started over.
started over because I went back to Taiwan without my family. My wife divorced me,
Oh.
out of a job, and no friends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I was really at the valley of my life, and I thought about, well, what do I do with the second chapter of my life to
Yeah.
redesign from scratch? And then I saw this ad for this organization called Toastmasters. So there, I went and had a blind date with my destiny.
There you
That's a
go.
great figure. A blind date with my destiny.
Well, because you step in there, you don't know what happened. And my
Yeah.
life
Sure.
really changed. That was a pivotal point of my life. And from the bottom and all the way up now to where I am.
Wow. That's a great story.
Yes,
And-
Really great story.
And look what it's done for you.
well, if you asked me a few years ago, this is where I'll be sitting here in Albuquerque as the international president.
On a TV show.
On TV show, I was like beyond my wildest imagination. When I gave my icebreaker, just overcoming my nervousness, talking about myself.
Yeah.
And now
Yes.
I'm speaking in front of audience of thousands.
Wow.
Just imagine that.
It's a great dream come true for you.
Well, I didn't even dare to dream. That's the thing.
Yes.
You know.
Now, maybe another misconception about Toastmasters is that you have to be this big motivational, fiery speaker that's up there commanding an audience. Now, that's a rare talent. And if you can do that, you've gone beyond Toastmasters almost. But
We
this
have a
is
few.
for-
Yeah, we have a
you
few
got
that
a
are
few
that.
that are really platform performers, as they
Right.
say in the speaking
And they
biz.
speak for a living.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not
Let's do that.
required.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's
what
not
this
fun.
is about.
No. No, in fact, with my situation, I did not have the foresight to look at an ad. It was coworkers. I'm an analyst. I love data. I would bury people in data, but if I wasn't talking about data, I was very quiet. And when I talked about data, I would talk fast and a lot. And my coworkers said, you know, you're smart. We need to listen to you, but honestly, we just don't. And they suggested I join Toastmasters. Yeah.
Talk about brutal honesty.
But I love them for it, and they made a difference in my life. I joined Toastmasters. I learned how to approach the audience, have just the right amount of information, and over the past 20 years, probably about half of every time I've been promoted, I can attribute it to a Toastmaster skill I learned, either the communication or the leadership.
Yeah. I mean, communication is such a crucial part of being a leader or moving up in your life.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes like, oh, well, as long as I have my education in this, that's great. But if you're not a good communicator, you don't know how to communicate yourself to others.
Yeah. I would follow up on that. Is, you know, communication is what makes us human. And believe it or not, we are all leaders. We're living in a fast changing world. There's a deep demand for leaders at all levels, including your own family, with your kids.
Yeah, very much so.
In
Great
any
point.
situational. So there's no saying, I'm not a leader. You are, you just don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or you have the potential to be.
And there's a number of stories like that. We have one person in the district who was insecure and finally got a little bit more confidence, went to apply for a job. And they said, you know, we don't think you're right for this job. We think you're right for this job. And so she actually got a better
Wow.
job. And part of the Toastmaster environment also is something called table topics. You learn how to think on your feet and answer a question immediately. And she was able to get a better job because of her Toastmaster skills.
That's
Interview
awesome.
skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, there's Toastmaster clubs that meet all over Albuquerque at various times of the day. There's breakfast ones, lunch ones, there's evening ones.
Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday. Find a club,
excuse
and
not to go.
if you're interested in learning how to communicate better, what better place to go? And we have the website up for Toastmasters.org. You can find out local info. This is just a pleasure to have you
Yeah,
here
awesome.
and joining us today. You're a very impressive guy, and
And we love these stories.
yeah,
Wow,
and,
I mean,
and
just
we
an
hope you come
amazing
back and
story.
visit again. I hope you're enjoying New Mexico.
Absolutely, this is really an enchanted place.
Well,
It's my first choice. What a privilege of a president. I get to pick where I go. New
Oh.
Mexico is my number one choice.
Well,
Well, thank you for choosing
yes.
New Mexico.
Absolutely.
A
Hope
nice
you enjoy
bolo
it.
tie.